Russ?
All right, here we are at SPX 2019, the 25th anniversary show. I'm Rusty.
I'm Joe, and with us today,
I'm Mady G.
Maddie, welcome.
Nice
Mady
to be
G.
here.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm loving the fest. SPX is my favorite con in all of America.
Fantastic.
And I just am thrilled to be here. It's been 5 years since the last time I attended. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was here as an attendee 5 years ago, and now I'm tabling, and it's amazing, and I'm so thrilled to be here.
Awesome.
Have you tabled at lots of shows before?
I've tabled a few shows. One of my more recent shows that I tabled at was TCAF in Toronto, and then I was at the Blue Stockings Comics Fest in New York City.
Nice.
How did you find TCAF?
I was actually reached out to by the publisher I work with, Oni Press, to help them with their table and to do book signings.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and did you enjoy yourself there?
I really did. I loved it.
it's a great show.
It was my first show
We're big
actually
TCAF
out of the
fans.
U.S. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was really, really exciting.
So when you came before, you were just an attendee, but were you making comics at the time?
You bet. I was actually in my senior year of my illustration, my BFA of illustration.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I was there with two of my friends, one of whom is actually the co-author of our graphic novel.
Tell us about your graphic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our graphic novel is called A Quick and Easy Guide to Queer and Trans Identities. And it is published by Oni Press / Limerence Press, and it's distributed through Simon & Schuster. And it is a short graphic novel that kind of covers the bases of queer identity, trans identity, anything under the LGBTQ umbrella. It is appropriate for ages 13 and up only because of reading level issues. So if you have someone in your life who's younger and could use a book like this, but if they have a middle school reading level, I think that they could definitely handle this. But yeah, it has a lot of like activity pages, mini comics, and it's just sort of a variety of different styles of comics to kind of go over the basics of queer identity.
So what made you want to tackle this subject in this manner, like kind of like a buffet of styles and content? Like what about it spoke to you? Said, I want not just a normal story or like a single through line. You wanted to kind of shake things up throughout.
Yeah, so when I first pitched this book, it was right after the 2016 election, and I figured, I'm a trans person. I want to do something for other trans people in a way that I know that I can actually be consistent and really do something. And so I thought, why not use the medium that I've been working on for my whole life to educate people about something that's really important to me. And I needed someone to collaborate on it with me because it was my first book, and I felt like it was a huge undertaking for just myself. So my partner in art, Jules / J.R. Zuckerberg, now known as Jules Zuckerberg, they are my co-author. So all of the comics in the book that are pink themed, those are mine, and then there are blue-green interstitial comics, which are by Jules.
Now that's a next level design choice.
Seriously.
Yeah, we wanted to let both of our art styles shine, but at the same time complement one another.
You had to be pretty geeked when you thought of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Very excited. It was we worked on it for 2 years, and we were actually working remotely the whole time. They were in New York City, and I was in Los Angeles at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So very remote, yeah.
Very remote, across the whole country. And so 2 years of work, and here it is. And yeah, it came out in April, and we couldn't be more thrilled with the reception it's gotten. And
So what kind of feedback are you getting about it? And not just from like, this is a representational of me or things that I've dealt with, or maybe someone who's learning more about it from an outsider's perspective, but what are people taking it as, maybe as a comic, as an entertainment medium?
I would say that there's definitely a bit of both in there, because Jules' segments are more of like stories and entertainment versions of like the more educational concepts we cover in the book. They use characters called sproutlings, which are kind of like Fraggle Rocky, Muppety characters to kind of illustrate what a topic we talked about would look like a conversation. So like we did, part of the book is about relationships, and they did a little comic kind of illustrating codependent relationships. And so that could be more of the entertainment part of it as well as the education. And then for the artwork, we tried to really illuminate the book and draw as much as we could to make it entertaining to read as well as educational. And we've gotten feedback from parents, we've gotten feedback from a lot of libraries actually, and it's apparently been doing really well in libraries, which is something we're really excited about.
Libraries are a crazy hotbed for comics.
They're so good. I was always at my local library when I was a kid, and I was always checking out comics, and it's how I discovered a lot of artists. It's how I first found out about Jillian Tamaki's work.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got Yeah, I think I got Silk from the comic section. Yeah.
So it's awesome being accessible for like teens. Was that like important to you to make it something where younger readers could access that and have these stories?
Absolutely. My main goal with pitching this book was to create a resource for kids like me so they wouldn't have to deal with some of the rough things that I had to deal with growing up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know, sometimes until you hear someone else describe it, it's hard to put words to something that you're thinking because you only know of it internally.
It's just in your head,
And, it may not be that you resonate exactly the same as someone else, but you might help them figure out exactly what it is they're trying to put words to.
Yeah, and I really, really want to help build those connections between people and then also, like, within a person as well, like making those connections. 'Cause, like, I remember the first time I figured out what being non-binary was, it was like my whole world opened up. I was like, wow, this is what I've been the whole time.
It's hard if you don't ask these questions of yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're just whoever you are.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm just me. Yeah.
You're traditionally presented with like such limited options, and you have to fit one of these, set roles instead of just being you.
Exactly, and everything, we forget that all of these roles were all established by other human beings. So really, who's in charge? These are all made up by other people.
Yeah, there were no rules. There wasn't like somebody was like, actually, no, this is the thing. We follow these rules because it didn't come from any of us.
Absolutely, and then there are so many cultures out there, like Native American cultures and Southeast Asian cultures, where gender is so much more just naturally fluid culturally. Like the population of Hijra people in India. It's a whole like third gender thing that's just like really held with reverence in certain parts of India.
And to them, that's all they know.
Yeah, exactly.
But to us, it's like something we didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to learn about the different ways people see the same object, if you will.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
And that could be said for everything in life. You're only going to see things through the lens of your own experience and own perspective. So sometimes it helps to kind of hear the perspective of others to give yourself a wider scope.
Absolutely. So now, this is not your first comic. You said you've been making comics for a very long time.
I've been making comics for quite a while. Yeah.
Now, do you find that like you probably have at least one project in the works?
Oh.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Knowing comics people, that's what happens.
You have to constantly.
Do you find that this is a path that you want to keep going down?
I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, like semi-educational, things of that nature?
Not all educational. I've been doing a lot of educational work. Like, that's where a lot of my work has been. So, like, I did a lot of work with the Nib as well, which is, I'm going to plug this really quick.
Absolutely.
So, the Nib's magazine is up, 2 magazines are up for an Ignatz this year. And then also, they just lost funding from their original, like, funder, and they're doing a fundraiser. So if you're interested, just look up the Nib, like a pen nib, and donate to the fundraiser and help the Nib stay alive. It's socio-political comics, a lot of different diverse voices.
Nice.
Mady, before we let you go, do you want to answer a mystery question?
Yes, that's what I've been waiting for.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to waste your time.
It's complete waste.
It's like blah blah comics.
So it requires a quarter, and thankfully we have Quarters the Ghost here.
Okay.
Quarters the Ghost.
As the
We'll
keeper
provide
of the
that.
quarters.
Spit it out, Quarters.
All right. All right, so I just...
Got it.
And then, of course, my hands are so sweaty,
That's right.
handling everyone's dirty money.
That's SPX.
Who knows how many
That's
diseases
SPX.
you currently have? Thanks, everybody.
I have so many
Thanks
diseases.
for wanting my art.
Should I open it, or are you the...
No,
you go
the
right
question
ahead.
is for you.
Yes.
Now, some people find it challenging,
difficult.
and some bubbles are harder than others. So we brought tools this year. Oh, wait.
Wait a minute.
I think I...
You know what?
Nice.
I'm going to stop offering them.
Yeah.
Because not a single person has needed them.
We were like maybe, and then all of a sudden everybody's strong this year. So.
What's your question?
Okay, it says, people always get Rusty and Joe's last names wrong.
Yep.
Me too. Please show the world how easy they are to pronounce. So we got Rusty. It's either Rowley or Rowley.
Oh, you got it on
You
the
know
first
what?
try,
Rolly?
Rolly.
You got a 50-50
Yes.
shot.
Hell yeah, that's what I was
Right?
thinking, because I was thinking it's probably Rowley because it looks like
It
people
looks
would
like
say
Rowley,
Rowley.
and that's what the question is. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that
Good
thought
thinking,
process.
Okay, and I'm going to try it. Is it Joe Mokovi?
No. Wah, 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 wah.
Moko?
It is Machovy.
Machovi. I'm
Machovi.
so close.
That's okay. Not
Very
even
close.
my boss of 15 years knows how to pronounce
seriously?
it.
Mochovi. Joe
He
Mochovi
means
and
well
Rusty
every time,
Rowley.
and I think he knows it, but he just never gets it out.
But now your
Yeah.
secret's out, though. Now you can't ask anyone else this question because
No.
we did it.
Yeah.
It's been answered by the person who should have answered it. We move on.
Well,
That's it,
at least I got Rusty's right. I got yours
no, it was perfect.
almost right, 75%.
Yeah. Rusty's name. There's only 2 ways to go, And I am astonished at how many times people go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so. It really could go either way.
One thing about having names that people traditionally mispronounce is that, at least for me, I don't care. Because it's not a big deal.
Well,
I get it. It's not the greatest, easiest name to understand.
So he had mentioned, his boss pronounces his name all the time, or and mispronounces it. We work at the same company. We have the same boss. The boss also commonly he goes back and forth, which is crazy to me. On mine,
that
but
tells
I
me
never
he's not sure
him.
which one's right.
Yeah,
and so he's not gonna latch on to
and
one.
I never correct
him.
I just been like, oh, okay, oh, this is Rusty Riley.
Yeah, all right.
I don't care.
It's not a big deal. But no, it really is. Some people, and I understand why they're like, no, that's not how you pronounce my name. This is how you pronounce it. Whatever.
You can always get around it by shortening it to a letter, like I did.
Oh, there you go.
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Can't mispronounce
Smart
the letter
move.
G.
So if people wanted to learn more about this comic or other comics of yours, where can they look online?
They can just Google Mady G, Mady G. That's my name. Or they could Google J.R. Zuckerberg or Jules Zuckerberg, and then you will find either one of us.
So if they Google all of that once, who knows what they're going to find?
They'll find the book.
Okay, that's it. There's just one
find the book.
destination.
It'll draw
really,
way down
pretty
right
much.
onto that. Yeah.
Yep, and my Twitter handle is at Mady G Comics. That's MADYG Comics. And Jules' handle should be Jules Zuckerberg, I believe.
I'll look it up.
We'll confirm that.
But I like to
Pop
read
it up
that
on
your
the screen.
statement is it should be this.
It
It's
should
not.
be this. No,
Yeah.
because they just
If it's
changed
not
it. That's
fixed.
why
I
they just
gotcha.
changed it. So.
I got you.
Okay, yeah.
But I think if you go to Hello, it's JR, it will reroute to their new one.
You guys are dominating the internet with presence.
We're trying it. We're working hard. We're on that grind.
All the URLs.
Well, thank you so much for sitting with us.
Thank you for interviewing me. This
You
was
have
a blast.
a very cool hat.
Thank you.
And
It's
that's
really
and that's me saying that.
You
Yeah.
do too.
I
Maybe
mean,
the
yeah,
ground.
mine doesn't do anything though.
You can make it do something. You can get little propellers for each.
One year for the SPX prom, I put little lights all around it. And that was
nice.
You
fun.
have to do that again every time.
Oh,
That's nice.
So you got to do
Damn
it.
it. All right.
you know what?
Got to
That's
run to Party City. Got to go to Spirit Halloween.
That's it. That's all I do anymore.
Need to find a shut down Toys R Us that's turned into a spirit
Shut
store.
down
Oh my
Toys
God. We got to put up the flimsy orange banner that's
Yeah.
only
Yes,
there until it
barely covers the old
disintegrates.
logo.
Yeah.
And you can see the sun stains of
The
the
sun
letters
stains of
behind
the
it.
letters, yes. And then the bird nest kind of crackles stuck to the side of the facade
What
of the
a
building.
picture we have painted.
We have
Yes.
painted just a hellscape, a dead mall facade.
But it's
That's
accurate.
it.
100%.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.